I'd like to begin by acknowledging that this meeting is taking place on the unceded Algonquin homelands, and I'd like to thank the Algonquin Nations for hosting this meeting on their land. And I'm going to have us jump right into the community awards. So I'm going to head over there. All right. This evening, we are pleased to announce and celebrate the winners of the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board's Community Recognition Awards for the 2022-2023 school year. To be a volunteer is a selfless act, giving up your time and sharing your expertise, driven by passion and compassion and a desire to build up your community. We want to celebrate a handful of the many volunteers who exist in our public school system to recognize the work that you have done and likely will continue to do. Volunteers play a number of important roles in our students' education, and their impact on our classrooms and offices cannot be understated. Not only do they facilitate connections between the school and the wider community for the benefit of all students, their life experiences, knowledge, and expertise can have a tremendous impact in the classroom and beyond. This year, our volunteers have continued to enrich student learning, provide leadership in our school communities, support our staff and our programming, amongst many others. It is a pleasure to recognize the valuable contributions to our community members, parents, caregivers, and businesses by honoring this year's recipients for the OCDSB Community Recognition Awards. As we recognize each award recipient this evening, we will share a brief summary of their accomplishments, announce their award, and invite them to the front for a photo, which we will post to our website. We'd like to begin with Natalie Merchant, a talented fundraiser and dedicated member of the Glen Ogilvie Public School community. While Natalie's work as a volunteer is extensive, her school community is especially grateful for her dedication to Glen Ogilvie's annual Gift of Giving event, which gives every student at the school the opportunity to give a gift to two parents, guardians, or loved adults in the month of December. Natalie is one of the event organizers and collects and stores thousands of donated items, sources materials like wrapping paper and ribbon, and works with other parent volunteers to wrap every single gift. Her hard work has helped every child know what it feels like to choose a gift, wrap it, and give it to someone they love. And the excitement the event creates in the school community is incredible to witness. Natalie's love for her school community is truly evident in everything she does, and we are pleased to present the Community Award to Natalie Merchant. If you would join me. All right. Next up, during the 2021-2020 school year, the Gloucester Lacrosse Association worked with the OCDSB Indigenous Education Learning Team to deliver the elementary lacrosse program. With support from an Ontario Trillium Community Development Grant, the GLA offered the program free of charge to 39 OCDSB elementary schools, where 3,627 students in grades 3 to 6 learned the history and origins of lacrosse through an Indigenous lens. Students learned that lacrosse is more than just a sport. Through storytelling, videos, and engaging in delivery, they experienced a connection to the land, traditional, and historical underpinnings of Indigenous identity as it relates to lacrosse, and how we now see and play Canada's national summer sport. The program has received incredible positive feedback and has created opportunities for educators to connect learnings from this program to other Indigenous worldviews, histories, and pedagogy across other curricular activities in a culturally responsive way. We are pleased to present the Community Partnership Award to the Gloucester Lacrosse Association. If all people from the Gloucester Association would come up and join us, that would be excellent. Janet Bowen has been a valued member of the school council at Crystal Bay Center for Special Education for many years. She has assisted in many different initiatives to help improve the school, like helping to keep the SLP program running, working with school staff on activities and special events, and leading fundraising projects in support of school projects. She was instrumental in getting a wheelchair-accessible swing installed on the playground, which is only one example of her commitment to the students at Crystal Bay. This will be her final year on the school council, and we are pleased to present Janet Bowen with the Distinguished School Council Award. If you would join me at the front. Our next award recipient, Mandeep Singh, is a leader in bringing education about Sikhism to the OCDSB and the wider community. After opening a library at the local Gurdwara in Ottawa, he has regularly hosted school groups to learn about the traditions and practices of Sikhism. Recently, Mandeep organized an open house for all OCDSB staff at the Gurdwara, which included the reading of the Holy Scripture, hymn singing, and an overview of the principles of Kasala, a brief history of Sikhism, and the serving of langar, or free community kitchen for all. Mandeep is also the regional director of Kasala Aid, where he has supported OCDSB schools with pizza lunches, the purchase of Chromebooks, and more. We are pleased to present Mandeep Singh with the Excellence in Equity Award. Thank you. Would you join me at the front? Our next recipient is Manak Lual, the founder and owner of Presidential Basketball Club, Presidential with a Z. Manak provides ongoing club programming for students to encourage and support safe and pro-social choices in and out of school. Last year, he worked in partnership with OCDSB staff to run a dedicated basketball tournament for the OCDSB's SATE schools, engaging youth in playing the game and showing leadership in the tournament. Manak continues to engage youth in the basketball club throughout the summer as well, and also supervises students through the Focus on Youth program. Students who learn and lead with Manak describe him as a positive and influential leader. We are pleased to present Manak Lual with the Excellence in Equity Award. You could join me at the front. So Jenna Hansen was unable to make it with us this evening, but we're going to announce her award nonetheless. Jenna Hansen has spent 15 years volunteering at Roland Michener Public School, bringing her dedication and enthusiasm to everything from field supervision to library donation superstar. When buying new books for her own children over the years, Jenna often purchases a second copy to donate to their classroom's library. She asks students for input and makes an effort to find the books they are most interested in. As she herself says, "Books in little hands make my heart happy." Jenna has also served on the school council and has a huge impact leading the council in many events as president. Her work in the school's skating program is particularly noteworthy. The school has a rich history of visiting the Malak ice rink for field trips, where Jenna has organized skate and helmet fittings and equipment maintenance, has provided supervision and support, and has sourced new equipment and more. Jenna's drive and dedication to ensure students are provided with opportunities and tools to be successful will be her lasting legacy. Again, she wasn't able to make us this evening, but I'd like to have everyone give a round of applause for her nonetheless. Finally, Dr. Jim Magwood is a passionate educator with a lifelong love of space and space exploration. In addition to being a well-respected science teacher at Lisgar High School since 2001, Dr. Magwood has volunteered thousands of hours as the supervisor for the Ottawa-Carleton Educational Space Simulation, also known as Space Sim. Space Sim is an organization dedicated to fostering a love and respect for the final frontier. In addition to drop-in evening sessions, Space Sim has hosted an annual space mission in which a group of 6 high school-age students have had the opportunity to spend 100 hours inside a specially designed mock interplanetary spacecraft. Dr. Magwood empowered the students by allowing them, under his guidance, to direct their own programming, design and construct their environments and spacecraft, and develop custom software for the simulation. His dedication to empowering students and maintaining a student-focused approach have positively impacted generations of students in Ottawa, fostering their ability to engage in complex planning, problem solving, and exploration. I'm proud to be able to recognize Dr. Magwood for his dedication and commitment to SpaceSim and the many students who have benefited as a result. It is our pleasure to present the Chair's Award to Dr. Jim Magwood. You could join me at the front. To all our award recipients, thank you for your dedication and commitment to the students, staff, and families of the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. Please join us now at the front for a group photo. We're going to take one all together. Up you come. One of you brought your awards. You didn't have to. I think we're going to want to have 2 groups. This brings us to the conclusion of the Community Recognition Awards presentation. We're going to reconvene in about 10 minutes and resume the public board meeting. So thank you. I'd like now to ask if anyone has a conflict of interest to declare. If so, to please do so now. If there are any, I would like to remind board members to share those declarations in writing to board services immediately following the meeting. Seeing no hands, we move along. I'm going to look to the Committee of the Whole met in camera earlier this evening. I am looking to Trustee Bell.
Thank you, Chair. The Committee of the Whole in camera met this evening and there are no recommendations.
Thank you. I now call for a mover to approve the agenda. Does anyone have changes to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor of the agenda as presented? And that passes. I will now provide my briefing. To begin, we are happy to share that the Ontario government has granted approval to award the tender for construction of a new elementary and secondary school. With these much anticipated approvals in place, the OCDSB can now move forward with the construction of a new elementary school in Finley Creek and a new high school in Riverside South. Construction for these new schools is expected to begin in June and July. Second, the end of the school year always brings announcements of some significant awards and scholarships received by OCDSB students, and I would like to highlight a couple. 2 graduating students have earned the prestigious Schulch Leadership Scholarship, valued at $100,000. These awards are intended to support promising students to become the next global pioneers in science, technology, engineering, and math. Congratulations to Tanya Sarabi from Glebe Collegiate and Ashvani Kaur from the Ottawa-Carleton Virtual School. Earlier today, Youth Ottawa announced the winners of the 2023 Spirit of the Capital Awards. These are meant to recognize the important work that youth in Ottawa are doing to uplift their communities. A number of OCDSB students will receive an award at the ceremony later in June, including student trustee Tabarak Al-Dalami. So congratulations to her. More student awards and accomplishments have been highlighted on the OCDSB website. Congratulations to all of those who won awards. That concludes my report. Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, we move along. I look to the director for her briefing.
Thank you very much. Today is a great day of celebration at the OCDSB. In addition to the awards we celebrated this afternoon, we held a reception to recognize recipients of the Director's Citation and Employee Recognition Awards for the 2022-2023 school year. Director Citation Award recognizes individuals who have made outstanding and significant staff contributions to the district and its students, and the Employee Recognition Awards recognize significant staff contributions in areas of equity, health and safety, innovation, technology, and mentorship. There were amazing nominees and wonderful recipients. We had a chance to celebrate with them this afternoon, and more information about the individuals can be found on our website. I encourage you to take a look, and I extend my deepest congratulations to all of the staff members who were celebrated today, all of those who were nominated, and also to those who submitted nominations, because that's such an important part of our recognition programs. June 1st marks the beginning of Pride Month in Ontario and around the world. Today, the Minister of Education released a statement that I wanted to share. This is a statement of support for the 2S LGBTQ+ community. So I read from the Minister's statement. For many, Pride is a time to celebrate the things that make us unique and special, to look to community for acceptance and support, and to demonstrate our commitment to making every single person feel welcome. Recognizing that many 2S LGBTQ+ students face increasing levels of bullying, harassment, and mental health issues, the Minister has made clear his expectation that school boards will redouble their efforts to protect these students and to ensure their inclusion within Ontario schools. It is incumbent on all school boards to ensure all students, most especially 2S LGBTQ+ students, feel supported, reflected in their schools, and welcomed within their communities. That includes celebrating Pride in a constructive, positive, and meaningful way, to affirm the 2S LGBTQ+ students, and to know that educators, staff, school board, administrators, and government stand with them. The Minister has stated that the ministry firmly believes that all publicly funded schools must be safe spaces for all children, regardless of race, heritage, faith, sexuality, and gender. And the Minister wanted the message to be shared to children in schools, particularly 2S LGBTQ+ students, that is, the Ontario government sees them, values them, and is proud to stand with them. And I share that statement because it's important that the Minister's message is shared, but also as an opportunity to talk about the work that we do at the Ottawa-Carleton District School Board. Last week, this district hosted the Rainbow Youth Forum, which was a wonderful forum and opportunity for 2S LGBTQ students and staff to come together to celebrate and to learn. And I would like to express appreciation to the organizers, both students and staff, who worked so hard to put on a warm and welcoming, but also a very safe event. We will, over the course of this month, be undertaking a number of activities in support of Pride Month. And on behalf of the OCDSB, I speak directly to the 2S LGBTQ students, staff, and families, and say, we see you, we hear you, we value your contribution and the learning that you afford for us. And we remain committed to ensuring that our schools and workplaces are safe, welcoming, and inclusive. Thank you very much. The last item I have is with respect to student success days and exam days that happen at the end of June. I know this is an issue that's been of interest to our parent community and to trustees, and we do have some communication going out. So the last 2 instructional days of the school year, no new assignments or tasks are introduced. Students are encouraged to work on review, remediation, and conferencing with their teacher to determine what areas of growth might be explored during the student success days. Regular attendance expectations and classroom schedules will be in place on those days. On student success days and exam days, those are not regular instructional days. On those days, students attend school to engage in student success activities or to complete final examinations, which are for students in grades 11 or 12, or final evaluation tasks. Expectations on these days will vary by course and by grade level. We know that schools are working with their parent community and with their students to explain these days and to make sure that both students and families understand how to use this time effectively in order to support student learning. And that's the end of my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director. Are there any questions for the Director? Seeing none, that takes us to delegations. There are no delegations this evening, which brings us to confirmation of board minutes. I'd like to now call for a mover and a seconder to confirm the board minutes of the 25th of April, 2023. I see Trustee Kaplan-Murth, seconded by Trustee Nash. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, let's call the vote. All those in favor of receipt? And that carries. I now call for a mover and a seconder to confirm the board minutes of the 9th of May, 2023. Are there any errors or omissions? Sorry, mover for receipt. Trustee Lee, seconded by Trustee Nash. Are there any errors or omissions? Trustee Dixon? Was that a vestigial hand? Nope, okay. Seeing no errors or omissions, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor of receipt? And that carries. Is there any business or arising from the board minutes of the 25th of April or the 9th of May, 2023? Seeing none, we will move on to matters for action. I now call on the Vice Chair to present the report from the Committee of the Whole meetings of the 9th of May, 2023. That recommendation was dealt with at the special board meeting on the 9th of May. So I look to Trustee Blackburn, who was the acting chair. Trustee Blackburn.
I'd like to move receipt.
All right. Is there a seconder to move receipt? Trustee Nash. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of receipt? And that carries. There are no non-consent items, which brings us to report 23-043, appointments to the Ontario Public School Boards Association. I'm going to call on Director Giroux to introduce this report.
Apologies. I will invite Executive Officer McCoy to introduce the report. Just a note that in the event that we have a vote, Executive Officer McCoy and Associate Director Reynolds will be the election assistant. Executive Officer McCoy.
Thank you, Director, and through you, as indicated in the report, we are bringing forward for the board's consideration this evening the appointment to several different positions with the Ontario Public School Boards Association. As indicated in the report, those positions include the directors on the board of directors for OPSPA, the alternate members, as well as the voting delegates for the Eastern Regional Meeting and for the annual general meeting. Although it's not required, I just wanted to highlight that for the last few years, this board, like others, has had a practice of appointing the same trustees as to serve as the board of directors, who also serve as the voting delegates. Again, it provides those trustees with an opportunity to increase their capacity and familiarity with the issues at OPSPA, and has been found to be beneficial by the trustees who have served in that capacity. And so, as the director indicated, we are looking for trustees who are interested this evening through the usual nomination and election process, and if necessary, we'll be prepared to have a vote.
Thank you, Officer McCoy. I'm now going to call for nominations to the position of the two directors for the OPSPA Board of Directors. Trustee Nash.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Lynn Scott.
Trustee Scott, do we have a seconder? I see Trustee Lee. Do you accept the nomination?
I do.
All right, we have one person. I see Trustee Kaplan-Mirth.
I would like to nominate Trustee Lyra.
Do we have a seconder? I do not see a seconder. Oh, I see Trustee Dixon. Were you intending to second? Okay. I do not. I see Trustee Lee. Okay. That fails for want of a second. I see Trustee Lee.
I'd like to nominate Trustee Jenkins.
We need a seconder. Trustee Scott, Trustee Jenkins, do you accept the nomination?
I do. Thank you.
All right. Trustee Bell, your mic is off.
I would like to nominate Trustee Milburn.
Okay, do we have a seconder? I see Trustee Kaplan-Mirth. Trustee Milburn, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Okay. We now have 3 people and therefore an election. Are there any further hands? Trustee Blackburn.
I move we close nominations.
All right, do we have a seconder? I see Trustee Lee. All those in favor of closing nominations? And nominations so be closed. All right, I'm going to. I'm going to remind those of you attending virtually that you're going to have to email your 2 names to Officer McCoy. So this is a dual vote ballot. Everybody gets to vote 2 times. My apologies. You get to vote once for 2 names. Just for some clarity.
Apologies. Who are we supposed to email? I missed the name.
Executive Officer McCoy.
Janice.mccoy@ocdsb.ca.
And now we begin the Jeopardy music. All right. We have successfully decided upon 2 positions for the Observer Board of Directors. Our Observer Board of Directors are Jennifer and Lynn. Congratulations to you both. I'm now looking, I've lost my place. I'm now looking for the two positions for the alternates. So I'm going to open the call for nominations for the alternate positions. I see trustee Nash.
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? I see trustee Jennings. I see, so we have one. I assume you accept the nomination. Trustee Scott.
I would like to nominate trustee Nash.
Trustee Nash is already on the ballot.
Oh, sorry, I thought that, I thought that trustee Bell was self-nominating.
Nope. Okay.
So we just have in that case, I would like to nominate trustee Dixon.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Trustee Jennings. Trustee Dixon, do you accept the nomination? I see you nodding. Okay. I see trustee Bell.
I'd like to nominate Catherine Milburn.
Do we have a seconder? Trustee Kaplan Mirth. Trustee Milburn, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Okay. Trustee Jennings.
I'd like to nominate trustee Blackburn.
Okay. Looking for a seconder. Trustee Dixon, is that a no? That was a seconder. Okay. Trustee Blackburn, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
All right. That brings us to 3 people by my count, 4 people by my count. Counting is hard. Do we have anyone else?
I have a question.
Sure.
Sorry. Because I am also part of the Black Caucus for the Black trustees, how does this work? I just need some clarification.
So I can answer that, or do you want to answer that?
I suspect the OPSPA members would be better positioned to answer it. But in terms of expenses, if you're attending on behalf of the board, and then it's covered out of the district funds, not out of the trustee budget.
So trustees at our board have always been allowed to attend conferences. So you're welcome to attend a conference, whether or not you are picked as the alternate or whether or not you are picked as the primary by the district. The only difference is if you are the alternate or the person, the primary. So if you are the primary or if you're the alternate and the primary is not going, you are eligible to get those expenses covered by central funds as opposed to by trustees, individual trustee funds. That's the primary difference. Otherwise, people are all welcome to attend OPSPA conferences. Does that answer your question, Trustee Dixon?
Yes, thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair Bell.
Seeing no further hands, would somebody like to move to close nominations? Trustee Jennings.
I'd like to close nominations, please.
And a seconder, Trustee Scott. That all those in favor of closing nominations? And that passes. So we're now going to get another ballot. Again, select 2 names.
Chair, would you just mind reiterating who the 4 names were again?
Certainly. So the 4 names that, as I recall them, are Trustee Blackburn, Trustee Dixon, Trustee Milburn, and Trustee Nash. All right. We have selected our two alternates. They are Trustee Milburn and Trustee Nash. Congratulations to you both. I'm now looking for a mover and a seconder for the recommendations found in the motion that Trustees Jennings and Scott be appointed as the two directors to the OBSPA Board of Directors for voting and alternate delegations for the Eastern Regional meetings, and the voting and alternate delegations for the OBSPA General Meeting, and Trustees Milburn and Nash be appointed as the two alternate directors for the period of July 2023 to July 2024. Trustees Lee.
I'll move the recommendation as stated.
Okay, looking for a seconder. Trustee Nash. All those in favor of the recommendation? And that carries. We're going to run that one through eScribe. My apologies. Open up your eScribes.
Madam Chair,
Trustee Blackburn.
my e-scribe is in my briefcase.
Okay. Let's do a roll call.
I vote in favor. Oh,
Let's
okay.
do a roll call vote. I'm seeing that problem from a number of trustees around the room.
Trustee Aziz,
In favor?
Trustee Bell,
In favor.
Trustee Blackburn,
In favor.
Trustee Dixon,
In favor?
Trustee Jennings,
In favor?
Trustee Kaplan Murph,
In favor.
Trustee Lee,
In favor.
Trustee Milburn,
In favor?
Trustee Nash,
In favor.
Trustee Scott,
In favor.
Trustee Lyra.
In favor, and that passes 11 in favor, 1 absent. All right, that takes us to matters for discussion, looking to our current OBSPA representatives and returning OBSPA representatives for a report from OBSPA. Trustee Scott or Jennings?
I'll go ahead with just a reminder that there is the OPSPA conference being held in Collingwood, June 8th to the 10th, including the annual general meeting.
Thank you. Trustee Scott?
Thank you. And I will add that it is understood that the grants for student needs announcements are putting significant pressure on school boards. In terms of the student transportation, it really is a reallocation of funds in terms of the changes. Some of the transition funding will be supporting boards with the hardest transitions, but essentially it is the ministry that will be determining how many routes a board should need, and they will be basing the funding on that with some flexibility for local priorities. There has been an ongoing process for trustees to take their MPPs to school today. And I know that at least one of our board members has indeed successfully taken an MPP to school, and some of us are still working on these things. In terms of the program policy update, the Coalition for Children and Youth Mental Health has finished its position paper, and that is an important step forward. There is a site on the Ontario Public School Boards Association website summarizing the work that's been done over the past 7 years with regard to trying to improve the supply of French as a second language qualified teachers. There are continuing concerns about supply and demand for teachers, and also about the availability of qualified Indigenous teachers. There is also, OBSPA has also completed its final submission on the AODA, the Accommodations for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. That final submission had a lot of trustee input from across the province. And and it is hoped that there will be some people who will be interested in joining the review of the legislation's customer service standards. There have been, there are still upcoming a number of trustee opportunities for professional development on disability rights and on hate activities. And the last thing is that there will be the annual general meeting coming up just in a week and a half, I guess now. And we will do our best to represent the board well at that.
Thank you, Trustee Jenkins. Trustee Scott, are there any questions for our OBSPA representatives? Trustee Bell.
Who will be attending the annual general meeting from the OCDSB?
Trustee Scott.
Some of us have already registered for that. I don't know whether anybody is going to the Canadian School Boards Association meeting, which is in July. Those are the next two big ones that are coming up.
Great, thank you. So it will be you, Trustee Scott, and Trustee Jenkins attending?
From those who put up their hands. it appears
Yes,
to be the
okay,
case,
great,
yes.
thanks.
And other trustees would be welcome to attend if it is still possible to register. I'm not sure.
All right. That brings us to matters for information. Are there any matters for information? Trustee Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So from OSTA, Manager Kiriako will be sending out a second communication to trustees that outlines the public information regarding the funding changes that Trustee Scott had mentioned. Also posted publicly from the on the OSTA's website from our board meeting yesterday are details regarding some of the mitigations that will be undertaken to address a $13.8 million shortfall in 4 years once the transition funding ends. The second item is that, as I mentioned at a previous committee of the whole meeting, the MTC program for OSTA will be reinstated for next year. The application portal is now open online. Information can be obtained from each of the individual schools. Paper forms are still available from the principals of each individual school. The decisions for the MPC program will be made in October next year once all the assignments for eligible students have been made.
Thank you for the update, Trustee Lee. Are there any further questions about, are there any questions for Trustee Lee? Seeing no questions for Trustee, are there any other matters for information? Trustee Nash.
I'll just follow up on Trustee Scott's comment in terms of bring your MPP to school. I had the pleasure of taking Chandra Pasma, MPP, to Bayshore Public School. And I had the pleasure also of taking Joel Harden to Churchill Alternative and to Elmdale, sorry. And at both, with both MPPs, we had wonderful sessions of where the MPP would discuss his role and then the students would ask questions. And I also had the opportunity to speak to the role of trustee and to answer questions. And it was a very, everyone had really enjoyed the whole event.
Thank you, Trustee Nash. Trustee Dixon.
I also had the pleasure of taking MPP Stefan Blaine to Sir Wilfrid Laurier, and also to Fallingbrook Elementary. And we spent the whole afternoon there and everybody really enjoyed that. And I did answer questions and he also got to interact with a lot of the students.
I'm glad to hear it's been Trustee Bell.
I'm going to jump on this train then to say I had 2 successful visits with MPP Joel Harden. We went to Centennial School and saw a lot of the specialized program that's taking place there and spoke to incredible educators. And we also got to visit Urban Aboriginal, and they were in the process of finishing off their incredible skateboards that will be on display at the NAC on June. Can someone help me out?
7th and 8th, I believe.
7th and 8th. So I encourage the community to go out and check out those incredible pieces of art.
I saw a hand from trustee Kaplan-Murphy.
Thank you. So I also had the opportunity to go visit a school with MPP John Fraser. We went to Alta Vista Public School with the superintendent, Reg Laverne, as well. And we had a lovely time there. He, I think, was quite familiar with the school, having grown up in the area. And we, at the end of that, decided that we would make more visits to the rest of the schools in the Alta Vista area.
Sounds like a lot more than one person got out to visit. So I'd like to congratulate all the MPPs and all of the trustees who managed to make that work. I think it was an excellent learning opportunity for all those involved. And so I think it's an excellent program that OBSPA pushes for every year, and I'm going to encourage them to continue to do so. Are there any other matters for information? Seeing no further matters for information, that brings us to new business. Is there any? I see trustee Nash.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. There's an effort underway being led by City Councillor Jeff Leeper of Somerset Ward to modify the City of Ottawa noise bylaw. And I believe we all know the genesis of that, with our Devonshire School and the Claridge project that's taking place not mere steps away, and particularly with the pile driving that lasted over 2 months, which resulted in outdoor activities being curtailed significantly. Classes had to be moved and so forth. We had readings of between 95 and 100 decibels. In the end, we were able to get at least 1 hour of respite, but even on some days that was not followed. So I would appreciate your support for a letter to be written to the City of Ottawa in support of amending the noise bylaw.
Is there general agreement around the table to write a letter supporting the amendment to the noise bylaw? I'm seeing nodding around the table. Okay, we'll do that. Thank you, trustee Nash, for raising this to our attention. I see trustee Dixon. Was that a hand? Nope, that was support. Okay, got it. Is there any other new business? Seeing no other new business, this meeting is adjourned and we're out before 9 o'clock.